Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com here with DigiRichie because we're going to show you how to color calibrate your monitor. Now for demonstration purposes, we are using the Color Munki display by X-rite, but there's a lot of companies that make a lot of different color calibrators, anywhere from $79 all the way up to $2,500, and there's probably somebody that has one that's even more expensive than that. But we want to set up this monitor right here for this iMac, so what are we going to do, Richie?
So we're going to take our Color Munki here, we're going to place it right in front of the screen.
Is there a reason why you put it right in front of the screen?
Once we launch the software, we're going to get into the calibration, and the first two steps are going to measure our ambient light. And you want it to be kind of near where your ambient light is hitting. If you're sitting in front of your screen and you're blocking it, you still want that light measured.
All right, show us how this software works.
So we launch our software, and it's just simply called Color Munki Display. We're going to go in, and it's going to give you an option to profile your display or your projector. Now, it's called the display, it's only going to do displays. Someone will come up and say, profile my printer, profile my, this or that. We're going to go with profile my display. So we go in here, and we have a bunch of different settings. We have easy, advanced, and then a couple other video options. If you're doing, video editing, this is going to give you the proper color temperature that would translate that way. For today, we're just going to do an easy one. This is the quickest, easiest way to make just a nice, consistent color balance on your monitor, neutralize all the colors.
Well, let me ask you, why do you want to color balance your screen?
Because when we shoot, we need to make sure that what we're seeing with our eye is actually being recorded. Our eyes are made to correct things, where a camera is not. So if you're on auto white balance, say, or a strobe doesn't fire, or just something changes, we need to know that actually changed. So if everything's nice and neutral and our colors are perfect, if all of a sudden, it starts getting a little pink or a little green, okay, well the camera's too warm, our sensor's too hot, there's been too many frames on it. That's a camera problem. That's not a monitor problem. If there's a tremendous shift, it just gives us that option that we can tell when things are going wrong, and it also gives us true color.
Got it.
So we're gonna select easy. We're going to click next. Now, first step is measuring your ambient light. So we're going to put it right in the zone of where you're going to be sitting. We're going to measure it. It's going to go through and tells you the current lux and everything, which is pretty cool. So then we go to next. So what you want to do is you take your Color Munki, you turn this around, and that's actually what's measuring it. You take the little diffusion plate off. Biggest thing here, and some of them will remind you and some of them will not, tilt your screen back. Let gravity do its work. This little guy right here is a weight to hold it back, to put it pressure so it sits flush. But if you put your monitor back as far as it tilts, you're also giving it a little bit of extra advantage. Because once in a while there's a gap, and if there's a little bit of a gap in between your calibrator and your screen, that throws everything off because there's a different color now mixing into that reading.
Sure.
What I do personally is, because I use iMacs, I have kind of an idea how I do it already. I usually tether it down and lock the weight in with either a little A-clamp or a bongo tie or just something of that nature, just to make sure it's nice and tight, and these are adjustable. And we simply just go to the second step, which is click next. And now it's going to go through, it's going through the automatic display control. So what that means is it's going to profile your display to your ambient conditions and give you the proper brightness. You can turn this option off if you like, but this is really going to give you proper exposure. A lot of people will blast their monitor to the highest power and keep pressing the sun button until they can't go any brighter. Your exposure might not actually look like that. You could look at your histogram and you could look at a frame that's actually a full stop under on a bright screen and it looks great. Go home, put it on a calibrated screen, well now all of a sudden it's stop under, go to print it and now it just looks muddy and gross.
Right, and I think one of the interesting things about this, one, how long is this going to take to do?
It takes, about 3 to 5 minutes on basis, on average.
And how often do you recommend doing them?
I personally, the first thing I do when I walk on a set, as soon as my computer's set up, I do it. And then I'll do it again if say, we're outside or anything like that. If you're in a controlled environment, say you're in your studio and, your lights are always off, once a month, maybe twice a month.
Now, for somebody like me, my office I have a big window in my office. I definitely want to use something like this that has the ambient all the time, because I may be sitting there at 7 in the morning as the sun is moving around, and then I may be down at 9 at night when it's dark out, and I want my monitor to stay calibrated the whole time, and that's where this is going to come in handy?
This is going to keep your brightness in check.
It's just brightness.
Right now, it's calibrating it, but when it's just sitting on your desk every 5 minutes or 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever increment you choose, it is actually going to take an ambient reading and then control your brightness.
Oh, so it just takes care of the brightness, but the color is still going to stay calibrated.
Already there, yeah. It's working in conjunction to make sure that your levels and your values are all similar.
Very cool. So we're going to let this keep working, but I mean, is there anything else that we need to do other than this?
Don't touch anything. Just let it do its thing. It's going to take a couple minutes. Don't try to finagle with it. Don't mess with it. Just let it run. It'll take 3-4 minutes, and then it'll give you an option that we can show once that goes through. That it'll show you the before, the after, and then you save it. And we'll go through a couple of quick tips with that too.
Right, so that's it, guys. I mean, that's pretty simple. You get your color calibrator, you put it on the screen. They're so good today with the software that it's going to do its job. And especially when they're not super expensive, people want to get the best color possible, and they sit there and say, well, I don't have a color calibrated monitor. Well, it's not that expensive to do, and especially if you're sitting in a room where the light is changing a lot, just make sure you have the ambient option, especially with this Color Munki display is a great option for that because it's not too expensive. It's not the least expensive out there, but it's going to be something good that you can leave sitting on your desk to track the ambient and then to color calibrate your monitor. So thank you, DigiRichie.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, guys, we will catch you later. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. So if you liked that DigiRichie video and you would like to see more, go ahead, click up on the screen. It's going to take you over to a playlist where you can see every DigiRichie video that we have made so far. But also, if you want to subscribe here on YouTube, go ahead, give the subscribe button a push so you can see the latest videos as they get released. And that is what I have to say. Go ahead, click on one of them.